From one conflict zone, let's now shift focus to the other one. I'm talking about the conflict between US and Russia over the Ukraine war. On Monday, Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister, Sergei Ryabkov, warned that Moscow is considering deploying its short to medium-range missiles in the Asia-Pacific. Speaking to Russian state media, Ryabkov described the option as a potential response should the US deploy its own systems in the region. Let's first tell you more about what was said. Ryabkov told state news agency TASS, I'm quoting here, the appearance of corresponding American systems in any region of the world will predetermine our further steps, including in the sphere of organizing our military technical response. The Russian minister's remarks signaling a potential for Russia to step into a region that's primarily been a hotbed for tensions between the US and China. And his comment came as the Japanese media outlet Kyodo News reported on Sunday that the US and Japan were jointly drafting Taiwan contingency plans. The plan basically would reportedly include stationing American missile units in the Philippines and the Nansei Islands. Nansei Islands being an island chain stretching from Japan's southwest coast to Taiwan. Temporary bases there would allow the US to establish a missile presence close to Taiwan. Kyodo, in fact, reported that in the event of a Taiwan war, the Japanese-American plan would basically send a US Marine Littoral Regiment to the Nansei Islands with American HIMARS rockets. The 12th Marine Littoral Regiment is already based in Okinawa. According to this report, the US Army would respond by deploying long-range units from its multi-domain task force to the Philippines. Remember, we have reported that since April, the US has stationed a mid-range capability Typhoon missile launcher in the Philippines. It was first deployed for a joint military exercise with Manila, but it has stayed there so far. The ground-based system is one of America's newest and can fire both the Tomahawk cruise missile and the Standard Missile 6 interceptor. In late September, it was reported the US and the Philippines had agreed to keep the Typhoon missile launcher indefinitely in the archipelago. And that decision deeply angered China, which had for months demanded that the system be removed from the Philippines. All of this is openly happening in the shadow of the collapse of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. The INF Treaty, which was signed in 1987 between the Soviet Union and the US, aimed to ban nuclear and conventional ground-launched ballistic and cruise missiles with ranges of 500 to 5,500 kilometers. And 2 decades later, the treaty began to unravel as the US and its allies accused Russia of violating it by developing the Novator cruise missile. And then in 2019, the Trump administration announced the US withdrawal from the treaty, citing Russia's non-compliance. Moscow, in turn, has blamed the US for the treaty's collapse. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.